Welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics. I'm Ken Bawdy. Mike Schmidt has been the Multnomah County District Attorney since August of 2020. He was overwhelmingly elected by the voters of Multnomah County, and he took office several months early, appointed by then Governor Kate Brown to replace the retiring Rod Underhill. A graduate of Lewis and Clark Law School, Schmidt was a deputy district attorney under the late Mike Shrunk, was a legal counsel to the legislature, and was also head of the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. District Attorney Mike Schmidt, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thanks, Ken.
Well, you came in as a reformer, and you enacted a number of reforms in the DA's office, including something called STEP. That's the Strategic Treatment and Engagement Program. What does STEP do, and why did you start it?
Yeah. Well, STEP Court is what you call a drug treatment court. And Oregon actually is a pioneer of the treatment courts in the whole country. So it follows the treatment court type of process where what you're looking at is a collaborative team. You have the probation officer, the judge, prosecutor, defense attorney, and their clinician team that are working on the treatment side of things. And they work together to come up with a plan to help make sure that people are successful in our community. So what we do is when we're prosecuting folks for different types of crimes, we look and determine what is the intervention that's likely to get the best outcome. Sometimes that can be a treatment court. Sometimes we have to use incarceration to protect the community. But what we know is that people who come out of prison are committing new crimes at a rate of 50 or 60%. People coming out of treatment courts, it's less than that. So they're a proven intervention, proven to make sure that our community is safe when people are successful.
This includes Measure 11 offenders, correct?
Yeah, in fact, STEP Court is specifically designed to work on two types of crimes that we've targeted, assaults and robberies, which are Measure 11 offenses. We chose those two crimes because in Multnomah County, the number of people that we prosecute for assault and robberies that are young black men accounts for 25% of the people we're prosecuting. 18 to 35 young black men in Multnomah County don't make up 25% of our population, probably closer to 1.5% of our population. So we saw a lot of disparity in who was being convicted and sent to prison on those charges. Yet we know from studies statewide that 70% of the people who are charged with Measure 11 crimes, this might be their first felony offense ever. So Measure 11 is kind of a one strike and you're out law. So we put together this treatment court and said maybe we can keep people in our community and get better results than we would if we sent them to prison. And that's what we're seeing. Does
this undermine the voters' intent regarding Measure 11 and public safety?
Well, no, I don't think so at all. I mean, first of all, I think it's widely expected that when you elect a district attorney, it's for them to exercise their discretion. If we weren't supposed to exercise our discretion, you could put a robot in the seat. There's not a district attorney in the state of Oregon that does not, in some situations, give Measure 11 cases that people are originally charged with Measure 11 a probation sentence. But in Multnomah County, we're saying not just probation, we want wraparound services in a treatment court setting where we can ensure the community that we're going to look at public safety and even get better results.
You decided not to prosecute hundreds of people arrested during the demonstrations and riots of 2020. Looking back now, would you have made that same decision?
The decision was right. The decision was correct. I would have made the same decision because you got to look at who it was that the policy was aimed at not prosecuting. And what we were mainly talking about was a crime called interference with a police officer, which was essentially a situation where police officers would say, go home, and then people say, no, I'm not going to go home, and they would hold their signs and things like that. That was the majority of the people that we were not prosecuting for those crimes. I can tell you, and you can look historically in Multnomah County, jurors acquit folks charged with those crimes overwhelmingly. It'd be a terrible use of our resources, and the people that we were seeing charged with those crimes, they weren't criminals. They weren't career criminals that were going to go on to a life of crime. I've met students, chiropractors, teachers, community members who were there because if you remember at the time, a lot of folks were very righteously angry about the treatment of George Floyd in specific, but black people in general by police officers. I felt like using the system that they were essentially saying needed to change to silence their voices would not help the situation at all. On the other hand, and this is what I think has been lost in the story, is that if you did damage, if you hurt police officers, we prosecuted cases for people who are assaulting police officers. We're prosecuting a police officer for assaulting a protester. If you are damaging buildings, lighting things on fire, and we had the evidence to prove it, we absolutely did that. And it doesn't matter your politics or your ideology. We prosecuted people on the so-called right and on the so-called left for damage, destruction, and injuring people.
So those people were prosecuted, you're saying?
Absolutely, 100%.
We've had businesses leave Portland because of crimes like shoplifting, burglaries, vandalism. We got some data from the Oregon Judicial Department. It does show a tremendous drop-off in the number of misdemeanor cases filed during your term. Much of it is due to the pandemic, of course, and the results of that. But how much of that is priorities coming out of your office?
So we have no policies in place in our office to not prosecute misdemeanors at this time. Now, during the pandemic, there was a time where we were easing back on some of those prosecutions, and we knew we were having defense attorney issues, which I know we'll get to talk about. But at this point, and for a while now, we have had no kind of policies around not prosecuting in those cases. So if you look at our prosecution rates of misdemeanors and compare them to pre-pandemic, we're back to right where we were. Why then is the question, are we seeing less cases being filed? And you got to understand the way the system works. I can't file cases that aren't referred to my office. I have to rely on our law enforcement agencies to do that work. And so I work with the Portland Police, I work with Gresham Police. In fact, I was at a law enforcement dinner last night in fellowship with a lot of our law enforcement from the region. And they have also been hit with a lot of challenges. You probably are aware that Portland Police and Gresham Police had to disband and fold back in their traffic units into their agencies. Well, if you look at our misdemeanor prosecution rates for DUIs, you see the prosecution cases filed are a lot less. That's because the cases coming in from police are a lot less because they don't have a traffic division right now. So if you look at all the misdemeanors, the important context is to understand the entire system. It starts with a call to the police, an arrest, a referral to my agency, and then prosecution. You can't look at any of that in a vacuum.
How severe is the public defender shortage? We've heard a lot about that. And how does this affect your office and your ability to prosecute?
It is severe. You know, I believe that we started seeing our first case maybe dismissed around February of 2022, somewhere around there. And I thought to myself, okay, this is a pandemic, you know, this will come back online. And then it didn't. And then it got worse. And we still, every week now, I publish a press release every Friday listing the number of cases that were dismissed pursuant to not having a public defender in the system. It is a very hard conversation that my deputy DAs, myself sometimes, victim advocates have to have with victims in our community or witnesses who are frustrated. And we have to explain to them, I'm sorry that your case is not able to proceed at this time because the defendant doesn't have representation. Now, academically, constitutionally, people are absolutely entitled and they should have representation. That's a hard conversation to have with a victim or a witness as they're frustrated because they want accountability and justice. So do I. This continues, and it's going to continue, and I'm hopeful that the legislature, I know they're taking it up, I'm hopeful that they will pass some legislation that will give us a resolution.
You had a joint press conference recently, including police and the mayor. Police have conducted shoplifting sweeps since then. Is this a change in your relationship with the police, and are you prosecuting these so-called quality of life crimes that we've been talking about?
Yeah, you know, as you noted at the outset, I got started at a tense time to come in after the district attorney resigned early in the middle of the protests. I got started on day 60 of the protests. It went for another 60 days. That was a tough time to get started in the role. I have been working ever since on my relationship with the police and law enforcement. And I know that we need every part of the system. We need police officers, we need prosecutors, we need defense attorneys for this to work, for people to have accountability. So I look for opportunities. I went on a ride along with our FIT team the other day. We're building those relationships. So it's not a change in policy, but what we're doing is we're working together. We're making sure we're sharing information. Sometimes we're seeing that when a case isn't charged, you know, that we didn't get the report or the evidence that we needed. And that might not be on the police officer's fault. It could be a system glitch where a report's not transmitted. So we're doing everything we can to work together collaboratively and make sure that people are being held accountable.
Got about 30 seconds left in this interview, and I know that you announced that you will be running again for this position next year. How do you get over these perceptions that you're just not tough on crime?
Well, it's absolutely a focus of mine that people should be held accountable. And I think accountability is the key word. When people are talking about tough on crime, a lot of times they're thinking about prison and holding people and sending them to prison. I think we have to be smarter on crime. The United States is the most incarcerated nation in the entire world. We're not the safest, right? We should use our resources better, more strategically. And this is a sentiment from the left and the right, that we can do better by being smarter on crime. That's why we're looking at programs like the STEP program that get much better results than the traditional approach. That's what I'm about. And I think as we go through this process and I get to talk to more and more people, they're going to see the data, they're going to hear the stories, and they're going to believe that this is actually starting to work.
Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt, thank you for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ken.